Hello, Tiffani Cappello here with A Transformed Life, and I'm recording this the day after the election. I'm not going to get political on you because it's not my purpose here. My purpose is to help you break free of anxiety and find lasting peace of mind. But I know some of you are very anxious right now. So before we jump into today's video, let's just take a deep breath, and relax. And let your mind know that right now, in this moment, here listening to this video, you are safe, all is well. It's okay right now, okay? And just focus your mind on what I'm saying, because I want to talk to you today about something that is very, very crucial to your recovery from anxiety. And it's actually very crucial to your success in life, because ultimately, if you overcome anxiety, and you feel better, but life is kind of mundane, and you don't have a lot of confidence, it's not where I want you to be. I want you to move out of anxiety, but I want you to have extraordinary confidence, because I can tell you I'm a fairly confident person. Now, every time I face a new challenge, my confidence is challenged and has to grow, right? So nobody is 100% confident in every situation. Nobody is comfortable in totally unfamiliar circumstances all the time. We are human. I am on this journey with you. I don't want you to think, please do not think that because I'm making this video for you, that my life is 100% perfect, that I never get anxious about anything, I never have any doubts about myself. That's just not the case. The fact is, though, it doesn't paralyze me anymore. It's not making my life miserable, ruining my life, defining who I am, keeping me from moving forward, achieving goals, creating the life of my dreams. That's the difference. I want you out of that. And I want you into that life of confidence and peace most of the time, even though you won't be perfect. So, just like I'm not talking perfect, my tongue gets tied from time to time. So, today I want to talk to you about something so crucial to your healing, and it is that you need to stop being a victim, even if you are one. Now I'll explain. Okay, some of you have had some really bad shit happen in life. I have too, okay? And don't tell me that if you were molested as a child, or you grew up in an alcoholic home, or your ex-husband beat the crap out of you, that you were not a victim, okay? We know we didn't deserve that back there, okay? So you were a victim. So it's not that, I'm not telling you that what happened back here was your fault. There's actually some teachers within a lot of the law of attraction movement and some of the spiritual groups that will teach you that you actually, on a subconscious level, chose that. I'm not buying that bullshit. Nobody chooses to be abused. Nobody chooses to be paralyzed by anxiety. And it's really cruel and judgmental for anyone to suggest to you, well, you chose this. Nobody chooses that. I'm sorry. I know I didn't choose it, and you know that you haven't chosen this struggle that you're in right now. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, but Tiffani, I actually made some bad choices, and they landed me in circumstances that are actually creating anxiety for me. Okay, I've done the same thing. Okay, if you had known exactly what would have happened, you probably wouldn't be here. You probably would have made a different choice. And maybe you kind of had an inkling and you closed your eyes to it. But like I said, even if you feel like you victimized yourself, it's time to move on, okay? It's time to stop being a victim, even if you've been victimized, okay? So I'm not saying you weren't victimized. I'm saying now, today, moving forward, I'm not going to let that person, that trauma, that bullshit, what's going on out here, I'm not going to let it destroy my life. And that includes if you don't like the results of the election. Because right now, half of the American people are rejoicing and half of the American people feel devastated. If you're in that devastated category, okay, yes, who runs the country affects our lives. But You can't let it drag you down and make you miserable if the person you didn't vote for gets elected. I know that's hard, but you are controlling your life sphere, and you have a hell of a lot of control over that right now. Okay, so I do have to look at my notes once in a while. So I want to tell you a bit about how important this is from my own life. I went through what I call my blaming phase, okay? And this was right after I crashed, because if you've heard my story, you know I didn't just crash into anxiety and panic disorder, which led to a version of agoraphobia. I crashed physically too. I crashed into chronic fatigue syndrome, and I had developed some autoimmune conditions as well. So my health, mental, physical, spiritual, it all caved in on me all at once in literally the span of 2 days. I went from feeling normal to being debilitated with fatigue and absolute panic. And even if I didn't have anxiety before, I would have had anxiety with the level of debilitation I suddenly found myself in. So, and it was funny because, and maybe this has happened to some of you, but when your nervous system crashes like that, I suddenly found all the trauma from my childhood bubbling to the surface of my mind. I don't know why that happens, but it did. I was dreaming about it at night. I'm having nightmares. I'm waking up terrified. I'm thinking about all of this. And I realized that what I had gone through those first 6 years before my dad got custody of me and gave me a safe home, before that, I went through some shit. My life wasn't safe. It was dangerous. It was chaotic. My needs weren't met. I didn't know from one day to the next where I'd be living sometimes. There was homelessness involved. My mom was a drug addict. I actually lived in Tijuana, Mexico for a year while she was fleeing from the law. Okay, this sucked for a kid. And I know many of you have been through some really rough times as well. And so I began to really think my trauma has affected me way more than I thought. And having done some therapy, as this is all bubbling to the surface, I became so angry. I thought, my mom did this to me. She's the reason I'm now having worsening anxiety. I'm now having constant panic attacks. I'm sick. All this stress I've been living in from fighting against my mind and my negative self-critic and all of these things. That's why I'm like this. And I became so angry. Now, I blamed my mom. I blamed my ex-husband. I blamed people at church who weren't helping me. I blamed the government. I blamed society. I blamed the doctors who couldn't find a diagnosis. I blamed the counselors that weren't helping me. Everything was everyone's fault, and I didn't know what to do. Okay. As long as I stayed in that state where I was blaming and looking externally for my answers, I was completely stuck. Now, of course, what I went through as a child had something to do with this. Of course, if my marriage and the communication within it was better, which was partially my fault, by the way, looking back, but if that had been better, maybe my nervous system would have been stronger. I don't know. Maybe if my circumstances were a little different, if I had had more support and friendships in my life. I don't know. But you're here now. I was there. Okay, sitting around thinking about why I got to the place I'm in, and whose fault it was, it did me absolutely no good. And as long as I stayed there, I was stuck. I made no progress. Okay. So this is why I'm saying to you, you need to stop being a victim, even if you are one. Okay. Set aside that victimhood and just say, okay, right now, I am going to move forward. Okay. Now, as I've taught you before, one of the reasons you have anxiety is because that anxiety is your brain trying to protect you. It believes you're in danger and it's trying to get you to take action. You're stuck in that victim mindset. you're just pointing your fingers all over everywhere and you're not taking that action. And yeah, for a long time, I really didn't know what to do. And the only thing I could do was research. Okay. Took me, about 8 months to get diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. Once I got that diagnosis, I was super pissed, but I started that research process. By that time, I was moving out of that victim mode. I still had terrible anxiety, still struggling with panic, still not going out of my house or getting much of anything done. So how do you move forward? Okay, if you decided right now, okay, I understand what happened back here. It doesn't mean you don't work to heal it. I'm not suggesting that, okay? You can still take action, not be a victim, and be healing, okay? It doesn't mean you're ignoring what happened, okay? There are consequences to trauma, to negative circumstances, to losses that we've had in our life, and those impacts are primarily here on our thinking and our beliefs, and those still need to be transformed. And it is helpful to understand, how did I get like this? And when you can see what the puzzle pieces are and they begin to fit into place, you begin to develop some self-awareness, some self-compassion, some understanding. And no, I'm not broken. Of course, I ended up thinking this way because I went through some tough shit, okay? And you begin to feel proud of yourself for making it through. I want that for you, okay? I'm not denying that. But it's time to move forward, okay? So I want to talk to you about 5 steps that you can take to move out of the victim mindset and into whatever small degree of empowerment you can get right now, because those uncomfortable emotions, that anxiety is trying to get you to take action to bring yourself to that place of safety. If you're sitting there pointing the finger in any direction except here, you're stuck. You're not moving, okay? So these 5 steps will help you to get unstuck and start moving forward, okay? So step 1 is to take that personal responsibility for your own healing, okay? Whether that's physical or that's mental, emotional, spiritual, okay? I had nothing to do with what happened back there. It wasn't my fault, but I'm moving forward. I am determined to heal, okay? That requires you to take that personal responsibility, okay? And that's the first step, okay? If you haven't done that, you're not going to make any progress. Step 2, make an absolute commitment. I am going to invest my time, my money, my energy, whatever it takes to heal, to get me out of this, I'm going to do, okay? Because a lot of people don't make a lot of progress because they don't put in a lot of effort, okay? And that brings me to step 3, which is to remove distractions. Because what we do when we're in emotional pain is we begin to look for those cheap dopamine hits to take away some of our misery. And if we're not careful, we can literally get locked into a cycle. So you begin to just distract yourself from your emotional, physical, and spiritual pain by porn, alcohol, eating addictions, Netflix binging, scrolling on social media. That's probably the big addiction nowadays. All of those things can keep you so distracted that you won't have the time and energy to heal, okay? So begin to take a look at your life honestly and say, how much time am I spending in numbing myself and trying to get these dopamine hits to make my life bearable? And this is where a lot of people fall back into a victim mode, but they'll go, but my life sucks. I'm miserable. This is how I'm comforting myself. Okay, but you might stay stuck if you're spending 5 hours a day scrolling on social media or playing computer games and not using that time to educate yourself, to work on yourself. There are so many great tools that I'm sharing with you on this channel that you can use for recovery. Self-hypnosis and affirmations and mindset transformations, NLP tools and techniques I'll be sharing. All of these things are helping you to recreate your own mind, to heal this stuff from the past and rewire your brain for peace of mind, happiness, success, empowerment, okay, and confidence. Can't forget that one. So, step 4 is I want you to become your best advocate. I literally want you to do what I call mirror talk. Okay, I want you to go in the bathroom, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror, and I want you to say, Tiffani, you've been through a lot of shit that you didn't deserve, and I'm so sorry. You did not deserve that, you poor thing. But we're going to fight now. I'm not putting up with this crap. We're going to fight, and I am going to help you to get better. I will do whatever it takes to get past this. I want you to know that I am going to fight for you. I love you. I care for you. Okay? When you have that kind of commitment, like you would if you have children, you know you will die for them. You will fight for them. You will do whatever it takes to help your child overcome something. You need to be that kind of advocate for yourself. Maybe you didn't have that parent back there who is doing that for you. Okay? I didn't have a mom to do that for me. She was too busy on drugs. Okay? I didn't have that. But I can be that for myself. There's no going back and fixing that. Okay? But I'm not going to be a victim anymore. I'm going to be my own loving parent. I'm going to be that advocate for myself. And you need to make that choice for yourself to do. That's why I love mirror talk. There's times I've looked in the mirror when I was crying and just said, oh, I love you. I'm so sorry you're going through this. And sometimes I needed a little pep talk, and I would say, listen, you're going to get up and you're going to go out there and you're going to just fucking do it. Okay? Sometimes I say that to myself. Sometimes you've got to be a little tough. Okay? Love yourself. Sometimes it's tough love enough to no longer be a victim and advocate for yourself. If you don't do it, maybe no one else will. Okay? Step 4, no giving up. Okay? No giving up. So many people give up right before they have victory. Once I went down in panic, anxiety, chronic fatigue syndrome, I remember that 1-year anniversary when it came up, and I realized today is the day 1 year ago that I got sick, and I wasn't any better. I was still having panic. I'm still anxious. I'm still absolutely miserable. And I thought, oh my God, I can't believe I've gone through this for a year. How much more do I have to go through? And I instantly fell into this horrible victim mode. I literally felt awful. I was stuck again. And I did that for like 2 months, feeling sorry for myself. Okay. So I got nowhere. I didn't give up though. Got back up. I did my research. I started making changes to my diet, to my lifestyle, to my thinking. Okay. I worked hard with as much energy as I could muster at the time. Okay. And I didn't give up. And trust me, it was not a straight trajectory. It was working hard, down into self-pity. Working hard, down into self-pity. Okay, there was a battle there, but every time I fell down and just thought, I can't do this. This is too hard. I'm not recovering. And I know Joe has been sick for 20 years and Betty's had panic attacks for 15. And I would get discouraged. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to stop listening to these people because I'm not going to be that person who gives up. I will heal. And I just got some grit and I got back up. I researched, I worked, I made changes. I eliminated toxic people. I worked and worked and worked. And if I had given up at any one of those points, I would not be here today making this video. I never gave up. So make a commitment right now, no matter what, I am never giving up. And step 5 is to train your brain, okay? Train your brain. That mirror talk is training your brain. Work on your nervous system. Got some videos here to help you to do that. Self-hypnosis videos here, and I'll be creating a lot more. Affirmations. I just made a video a couple days ago or last week on some morning affirmations to get you into the right mindset at the beginning of your day. Take advantage of that. And if you want to work with me, my website is always posted in the description. I help you dig out the root cause, the reason behind why your mind is sending the anxiety. We locate those subconscious drivers, reframe and neutralize those, and then install into your mind a new way of thinking, which is a hell of a lot easier once we've pulled all the weeds of the negative thinking. I'd be happy to work with you, and that information is always in the description section. And I do offer a free consultation. So if you want to talk to me to see if it's right for you, because maybe it's not. I work with some people, and some people I choose not to work with. If I can't help you, I will tell you, and I will hopefully make a recommendation of someone you can work with, because I believe everyone can move past anxiety and find freedom. Everyone, okay? I was told I probably would never recover with all the trauma I had. It was bullshit, okay? I live a happy life, not perfect, but my life is happy. I wake up happy. I have a peaceful day, and I know you can too. So I want you to choose today. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it before you go off and do something else, okay? What is the one thing that you are committing to do today to take action and move yourself towards recovery? So think about that, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.